Now, you see this one here, American Slavery, 1619, 1867, by Peter Caution. That's that word, Caution, Peter. Let's look at this real quick. Now, you see this here? When they telling us, right, that these supposed to have been slaves, right? This picture here is from Ellis Island, a.k.a. New York. Ellis Island. Y'all need to pull that up, too. And call these things by their original names. When you start calling anything and doing it by their original names, you start getting a better insight or understanding of what's going on, too. So when you start going back and calling these things by their original name, putting them back in their original perspectives, oh, man. Oh, man. We're just going to look at this picture for a minute. Now, you see the guy standing on the table, right? He holding a baby, a black baby. That baby black as hell, too. But if you even notice all the black people that's in this picture cover, they ain't dressed like no goddamn slaves. Okay? And see the baby? That baby, they holding that baby up, that for market selling, when they were selling the kids. That was strictly for adrenochrome, okay? So when they were selling out the baby, you see how that room is in a panic once they, hold them babies up like that and do that at the auctions that they was having. You know what I'm saying? But I thought the slaves supposed to be half naked to be dressed and auction off like they were showing us in the movies and stuff. No, they show us in the movies. I thought that's how they was telling us the slave situation supposed to have happened, right? But why did these so-called slaves have on modern time attire for that period? Don't make no sense. If they were supposed to be slaves, you know what I'm saying? How could the slaves have on modern time attire for that period? Right? So a lot of what they were saying, you put something in a book and niggas won't. So a lot of time we have to go back and start paying attention to the anomalies and these so-called traps they be leaving for us, or codes, because they always gonna leave codes. They're always gonna leave something that the new generation can grasp upon to keep it rolling. But once you start learning the codes and identifying with the codes, it's gonna be hard to jam you up or jam anybody up like that in any kind of situation they got going on. Okay? We're going to keep it rocking. We're going to keep it rolling, okay? What did it say? This is Indian slavery in colonial times within the present limits of the United States. And it's by Almon Willer LeBur. See that there? See? And this is what they call a misnomer, okay? What they talking about in this book is about slaving us. But who is the us? In order for it to be a colonial times, it has to be colonialized, right? In order for it to be in these times what they call a colonial times, in order for this to be in what they call colonial times, it would have to be colonized first, okay? But where would they do this at? Well, the present limit of the United States at this time, it was called the 13 colonies, okay? 13 colonies. The 13 colonies became known by law as the 13 states, okay? So the present limits of the United States at this time, it was called the 13 colonies. The present limits for the United States Corporation at these times and periods was called, they only had 13 colonies. It's a little bit, they were teaching us this in school, but they didn't go into it and breaking it down and getting us insight. It's about understanding. You can't understand nothing. Any word starts with UN, the whole word means no, okay? So we shouldn't be understanding nothing. We should be trying to understand things. Don't overstand either, because it's going to go over your goddamn head. You want to put it inside. You want to understand. You don't want to overstand, and you don't want to understand. You want to play right in the middle. You want to be able to understand so you can understand the codes. You can see how they coming. You can see the language, and you can know which games they playing when you have insight. When you don't understand, You could be playing Monopoly, but you can't bring Uno cards to a Monopoly game. Or you can't play chess when you're trying to play checkers. So you got to know which game they're playing, okay? Got to have insight on which game they are playing, okay? Now, the 13 colonies, they became known, as what we call the 13 states. It was the 13 states that they launched the so-called United States legal fiction all across the land, okay? And all this before even was a prison over here. They did all this before we ever needed a prison on this land. You know what I'm saying? No prison. All this before prison. What you need a prison for? What they need a prison for? If it wasn't no slave, who was going to lock up? Remember, they could do anything they wanted to do to slave, beat them, bash them, do anything they wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So with this next one we got up here, all these books too. You can go back, y'all can go back, get these books, read these books, do whatever y'all need to do, okay? This one here is called Slaves, Subjects, and Servitude, Services, okay? Blacks in Colonial Latin America. And it was edited too, so this is edited by Jane Landers and Barry Robertson, okay? See that one now? Slaves, Subjects, and the Services. Subversities. Now look at this picture. Let's look real quick. Let's pull this up so let y'all look at that picture. Let's look real close. Look real good and close, okay? See that? Now, how many pale faces you see in this picture? Okay? In this picture, they would give you the anomaly and show you blacks were enslaving blacks. See that? Yeah. We some motherfuckers, man. We is some motherfuckers, man. And this was because it's three Americas. You got the North, the Central, and the South. Three Americas, okay? But at this point in history, what they talking about right here, see, the blacks in colonial Latin America. See this? Now, let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one real quick. Give y'all some better insight real quick. I'll check that one out right here. See this right here? Slavery in early America. Early America, okay? Pay attention to this picture again. Get a book out, okay? See this right here, right? The story of America. That's what it said at the top, too. Story of America. Slavery in early America. Once again, how many pale faces you see? I see somebody working. Let's see what we see in this movie. I see somebody working with a bale of hay. I notice nobody in this picture is dressed like a slave. Remember, our ancestors wore moccasins, boots and shit as shoes, know what I'm saying? If you got to tell us about this part here. Maybe they was on their own land. Maybe they was on their own land. Maybe they got took over on their own land. They ain't come from Africa, like they told us. Okay? If you know about farming, first of all, if you got a little bit of insight about farming, you know that story don't even make sense. First of all, you can only farm and graze in kind of like where you were raised up at. Crops don't even grow good if the land have been blessed by its natives, okay? That's why a lot of times you can get crops to come up, but they be shitty crops. Some oranges don't taste as